Hi guys, this is Brian Bennett for CNET, and right now we're taking a first look at the Baymore Brazen Plus coffee maker. Now this coffee machine is not your ordinary countertop kitchen appliance. It is one of the only coffee machines out there that meets the SCAA's requirements to brew a golden cup of coffee. Second, it is a coffee geek's dream in that you can tweak so many different variables of the brewing process, right down to how hot the water will be and how long the grounds will be pre-soaked. You can select how hot the water can be. You have a range from 190 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 210 degrees. You can also select how long you want the coffee grounds to be pre-soaked, from 15 seconds all the way up to 4 minutes. Also pretty slick is that the Brazen Plus has a calibration mode. It will tune the internal thermometer and time how fast it will boil a set volume of water. That way you always get the same performance no matter where you are. As a matter of fact, there's also an elevation setting which allows you to enter in the altitude of your current location. So if you live 500 feet above sea level, 1,000, 2,000 feet, you can adjust the brewing process accordingly. Other nifty features that the Brazen Plus has is the ability to use a manual release function, so you can heat up your water to the temperature that you want and decant it into another brewing chamber like a French press or even a Chemex container. And this coffee machine is programmable too, so you can set the clock and have it turn on and begin brewing at the time of your choosing. There are some things I don't like about the Baymore Brazen Plus. First off, it takes a while to brew. It has to heat up its water first to the optimal temperature and then start the brewing process. So we're looking at a brewing time of about 10 to 12 minutes total. You also have to take into account that the stainless steel thermal carafe doesn't keep coffee as hot as other devices and other coffee machines I've looked at. It essentially has an open part up here which lets heat escape, so you're looking at a max of about 2 hours to keep your coffee hot. So priced at $229, the Baymore Brazen Plus is definitely no impulse buy, but it definitely brews a tasty pot of coffee. It also costs a lot less than the Technivore Mocha Master devices, which run about $300 or even more. That said, you can expect the same level of brewing performance from a less expensive Bonavita BV 1900 TS. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out the full review of this coffee machine, as well as my other reviews at cnet.com. I'm Brian Bennett for CNET Appliances. Hi, I'm Brian Bennett for CNET, and right now we're taking a first look at Bonavita's brand new drip coffee maker, the BV 1900 TS. And this machine has earned our Editor's Choice Award. This model replaces the previous BV 1800, and for about the same price, $190, it brings the same great performance to the table, plus a few nice enhancements. There's a lot to like about this machine. What I like personally is that it is attractively stylish, has nice brushed metal design. It's also compact, so it won't take up too much room on your kitchen countertop. It also has this thermal carafe that's really nice. It's designed to keep your coffee hot for hours. This coffee maker also offers premium brewing performance. Basically that means it heats up water to the optimal brewing temperature quickly. It also brews a whole pot in 6 minutes or less. It's also easy to clean and to operate. I also like that it's affordable given its very strong coffee brewing abilities. There's also a new pre-infusion mode which essentially lets you steep the coffee grounds for 30 seconds and then it'll hit the brewing process right away after that. That gives a more rounded flavor and brings out some of the more delicious qualities of the coffee you're making. That said, there are some drawbacks to this machine. First of all, it only comes with a 2-year warranty compared to Technivore Mocha Master products, which offer a full 5-year warranty. Additionally, the design is not as high-end, not as modern, not as super luxury premium as Technivore Mocha Master coffee machines. Don't get me wrong, Mocha Master products are superb and worth the extra cash if you want better looks and a longer warranty. That said, with basically the same great performance as a Mocha Master, this Bonavita is the better budget buy. And that's why it earns our Editor's Choice Award. I'm Brian Bennett for CNET Appliances. Read my review of this coffee maker and other drip machine reviews at cnet.com.
sens rejeté. Saute, rebond. Je me sens rejeté. Saute, rebond. Saute, redondant. Ou, jouis, joue, plaire, pleure, plaire, meurt. Je me sens rejeté. Les nuages pixelisés ravagent la plaine. Pourquoi court-il? Saute, rebond. Je me sens rejeté. Saute, rebond.
Hey guys, this is Brian Bennett for CNET, and we're taking a look at the Bun Velocity Brew BT. Now, this coffee maker may look basic, but it is anything but. It costs $179, which is pretty expensive. But what it does do is brew an incredibly tasty pot of coffee in just 3.5 minutes. It also keeps the coffee hot for a very long time with its thermal carafe. And what I really like about it is that when you pour, it really pours very accurately, almost like a little laser pointer directly into your coffee cup. It's pretty slick. So how does the Bun Velocity Brew actually brew coffee so quickly? First of all, it preheats the water. It's kind of like an inverse backwards coffee machine. It preheats the water to 200 degrees Fahrenheit in this water tray here. And another way that it delivers coffee to the coffee grounds really quickly is it uses a special spout that shoots the water at high velocity to ensure proper mixing and an even coffee extraction. There are some things that aren't so hot about this coffee machine. First off, it uses its own Bun special filters, which you have to go look for specifically, and you may not be able to find them at your local grocer. Another thing that's not so great is it has a very plasticky look up top. It feels kind of flimsy, and it's not exactly high-end for this price point. And if you're looking for some really high-tech, sophisticated controls or displays, you're not going to get it with this thing. It is so bare bones. It essentially just has one switch on here that keeps it on all the time. As a matter of fact, the way you actually brew this thing is by opening up the lid and putting it back down again, and that initiates the brew cycle. So in a nutshell, the Bun Velocity Brew is a very good coffee machine. It brews fast, it brews very good coffee, and it keeps it hot for a very long time. The only thing is, if you want something really fancy that grinds its own beans or has very nice aesthetics, this is not the machine you want. You're probably going to have to go with something from Techniform or Bonavita. But essentially, this is a very reliable, very dependable machine, and we love it pretty much across the board. I'm Brian Bennett for CNET, and we've just taken a look at the Bun Velocity Brew BT. Hey guys, this is Brian Bennett for CNET Appliances, and right now we're taking an up-close look at the brand new KitchenAid Siphon Brewer Coffee Maker. So this machine definitely looks different from the standard drip machines you're going to see at the store. If you look at it, it looks like some sort of cross between a gumball machine and maybe some high-tech or even 19th century lab equipment. It uses vapor pressure from water that it boils, and essentially will use it to force it up into the brewing chamber. Essentially, you get a lot of the flavors and complex aromas that will otherwise get lost when you use conventional drip machines. One thing I have to say though is that this brewer and siphon brewing in general does tend to have a more cloudy texture to the coffee. It's not clear, it's not as smooth or silky, but it's really a delicious cup of coffee. You can definitely get a manual siphon brewer, and for not that much money, but this is one of the few that actually can just plug right into your wall, and you just flip a switch and boom, you've got your siphon brew in about 5 or 6 minutes. While I definitely think the KitchenAid Siphon Brewer is a handsome product, it is a little awkward to operate. You have to basically make sure that you have a nice seal so that the vacuum pressure will actually happen. There's also the issue of cleanup. You have to basically wash every part of this by hand. It becomes a drag. You have to actually clean out all the grounds and can't even put the main brewing chamber in water and submerge it because it might actually, crack the glass. And that's something you definitely don't want to do with this thing. Despite all its complicated cleanup, I have to say Siphon Brewing, especially the KitchenAid Siphon Brewer, has this really wild way of brewing coffee. When you actually look at it, it's really violent, it's exciting. You see all the steam or the vapor come up and just push into the chamber, and then there's a lot of bubbling going on, and then right after that, it just cascades down in one fell swoop. It's really something to see. So if you want to get your hands on the KitchenAid Siphon Brewer, you're going to have to wait until July when the machine is going to be sold in Williams-Sonoma stores exclusively. After that, it will be offered more widely in August. So hopefully you'll be able to scoop this one up for $250. For more, check out my full review of this product, as well as others at cnet.com. I'm Brian Bennett for CNET Appliances.
Imagine if you could take your basic drip coffee maker and set it to brew in many different ways, styles, and drink sizes. Now imagine if you took that gizmo and added an internal milk frother. What you'd have before you is what we have here right now, the new and improved Ninja Coffee Bar CF092. It has presets to brew many different styles of coffee, such as specialty, concentrated, rich. You can brew in small cups to travel mugs, all the way up to half carafes and full carafes. Like I said before, this machine has its own integrated milk frother. It swings out from behind the machine and you just put your milk in a container and use it to get your nice frothy cappuccinos and lattes. There are some issues with this machine though. Like its predecessor, it has a tendency to over-extract its coffee beans, and that gives coffee, it makes a little rougher taste and a little bit of a bitter aftertaste. And this milk frother isn't actually a true milk frother. It doesn't actually heat the milk or steam it in any way. What it is it actually blends and aerates the milk. So you have to put it in the microwave before if you want warm frothed milk. And priced at $200, this coffee maker is expensive. So while this new updated Ninja Coffee Bar might seem like a bargain, if you take into account its new features and performance, it doesn't quite add up to its high price. I suggest you go with a Bonavita, which is a much better brewer and costs a little less.
Have you ever tried cold brew coffee? Cold brew is a process known for delivering smooth, low-acid coffee. I'm Noah from OXO. Let me show you the unique features of the OXO cold brew coffee maker and how they work. Instead of using heat to extract the coffee flavor, cold brewing uses time. Steeping the grounds in cold water releases only the most aromatic flavors, so it's less bitter than regularly brewed coffee. The concentrate created from the cold brew process, which is then diluted according to your preference, stays fresh longer so you can brew a batch and enjoy it throughout the week. The recipe is extremely flexible, but here's how we make cold brew in the OXO cold brew coffee maker. To start, put 10 ounces of coarsely ground coffee into the brewing container. Pour 40 ounces of water onto the rainmaker in a circular motion, which ensures water is evenly distributed over the coffee grounds. If you'd like, stir the grounds to make sure they're evenly mixed, then let them rest for 12 to 24 hours or overnight. Once brewing is finished, press the brew release switch down to drain the concentrate. The fine mesh stainless steel filter keeps sediment out of your cup. Want to have some cold brew before draining is complete? Simply flip the switch up and pull the glass carafe out. Then flip the switch back down to finish draining. You can use a stopper to measure the concentrate and dilute with hot or cold water, ice, or milk. Use the stopper to seal the carafe and store the concentrate in the refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. The glass carafe is dishwasher safe, but hand wash all other parts. When you're ready to put the OXO cold brew coffee maker away, the parts nest easily for storage. Cold brew is a very flexible process and allows you to experiment and change it in any number of ways. You can experiment with the amount of coffee and water you use, you can add infusions like orange or clove or cinnamon, and you can cold brew tea.
Right now we're taking a first look at the brand new Ratio 8 coffee maker. It costs $580. It looks beautiful. It uses lots of premium materials. You can see it is basically covered in this nickel ceramic surface, which does not smudge easily. There's also actual walnut wood on these structural arms on either side of the machine. The water reservoir here is hand blown, as well as the filter and pitcher that is very similar to what you see from Chemex and others. So the carafe has magnets at the bottom and there are magnets in the base of the machine. That way the coffee maker knows when the carafe is present or not. This way you don't have hot water spewing all over by accident if you press the button. So it's very cool, very elegant. The only control you're going to find on the coffee maker is a capacitive button, and you just touch it and it registers the feather light touch of your fingertip, and that's pretty slick if you ask me. Outside of its really, really high price, there are some major usability problems with this machine. It is designed to brew a maximum of 8 5-ounce cups of coffee, and the carafe as well as the water tank have fill lines that tell you when it's full. Unfortunately, when you actually measure it with these indicators, they don't line up with the amount that it's supposed to actually brew. So actually getting the amount of water you want to brew is a little tricky, and you're probably gonna have to use a scale, which is definitely not very fun to do. So in a nutshell, this device is extremely expensive. If you want to have that same luxury coffee performance and some of the high style, I would suggest going with something from Technivorm or even Bonavita, which offers a similar level of performance for a lot less money. For more, check out the full review at cnet.com. I'm Brian Bennett for CNET. Hi guys, this is Brian Bennett for CNET, and we're taking a look at the Technivorm Mocha Master KBG741AO. This product is essentially the same as all of the Mocha Master line of coffee drip brewers. The only thing that's different here is that it has a hot plate, so it'll warm your coffee, keep it hot after it goes through the brew filter. It's also available in lots of wild colors, like pink, as you see here. It also brews coffee in under 6 minutes, which is very fast. You get a lot of the performance that you expect. You have the design is very similar. You've got the same very easy to remove and clean parts like this. You can just pull them in and out. The major differences with this machine and the other Mocha Master machines is that it has a hot plate, which is something you don't really see that often, especially in the US. So the automatic drip brewer will stop the brewing process and stop dripping coffee from the filter the minute you pull the carafe out of the hot plate. So that's a pretty nice feature. Another feature that this machine shares with its Mocha Master siblings is that it has this very cool clear water reservoir, and when you start the brewing process, it'll start shooting bubbles all the way up through this glass tube and over into the brewing funnel, and it's very mesmerizing process, very cool to look at. You're gonna pay a little more for this, about $30 more. The only problem is this machine brews a slightly bitter, a little harsher brew than the regular Mocha Master models we've tested. I also noticed that the carafe actually doesn't pour as well as the thermal carafe that you get with other Mocha Master models. It has a tendency to drip if you don't know what you're doing. In some cases, I had to open the lid a little bit and crack it open just to make sure it doesn't drip as it's pouring. If you really want a Mocha Master machine that has a hot plate as well as an automatic drip brew stop, then this machine would make a lot of sense. And if you're willing to pay $30 more for the snazzy color, then by all means, this is the machine for you. I'm Brian Bennett for CNET, and we've just taken a look at the Technivorm Mocha Master KBG741AO.